right, welcome back to the DNA Pest Control Podcast. This is Daniel, the host, and coming back at you with another Free Talk Friday. So, a lot has happened this week for me and in my business, but also a lot has been happening just everywhere. So if you haven't been following here in Sacramento, California, up towards Lake Tahoe. If you're not from here, you probably know Lake Tahoe. It's a very famous lake. But there's a fire in between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe. It's called the Caldor Fire. Check it out. It's pretty crazy. It is very close to home. There's ashes all over my vehicle every morning. And the other company I purchased earlier this year actually has clients up there. And so an area that was completely destroyed, we actually had clients in that area. Luckily, no one has died. Okay, so that has been awesome. You get some, and I hate to call them dumb people, but you get some dumb people that want to stay inside their house and think they can fight the fire, and you can't. Come on. I mean, the fire is massive. It's just running through everything. Don't even try. Just get out of there. Salvage what you can, but leave. And luckily, no one was actually left behind so far. And that's all I've heard. So maybe there has been some people that stayed behind. Usually that stuff comes out later. But only 2 people injured, which is awesome. So it's been pretty intense and pretty crazy. But essentially, with that being said, moving on to what's going on in the pest control world. So I talked about on the last Free Talk Friday about Pest World, okay, in Las Vegas. Well, when you are getting ready to go to Pest World, if you are going to join me out there, and I hope some of you do. I saw some messages on Instagram. I hope I see you out there. Come say hi. Don't be shy. I'd love to talk to you. But a big thing that comes out, and it's going to slap you in the face when you walk around, is technology. Okay, the industry, I know that we've been around for years and years and years, and there's guys that are 1,000,000 years old in the industry, and they have all this wonderful experience. But technology is inevitable, okay, in this world. You either jump on it or you get left behind. And the ones that get left behind, you are going to fail, okay, in some aspects, not in all. And I want to talk about that today. I've talked and I've had CEOs of these companies on, okay, of systems. Okay, they created the system. They are now pushing the system out there. And you are dumb if you are not on the system. Okay, and I shouldn't be telling you this because you're my competition. I'm just joking. You're not my competition. But get with the times. There's so much technology out there that they have systems in place that you can run a route. You can send bills automatically. You can send messages automatically. You can do literally everything from a system. It is crazy, but I literally could run my entire company mobily from a laptop wherever in the world. I just need a technician to do the jobs. Other than that, I can literally run it wherever I want to. It's crazy. That's unheard of. Before, you had 5 million papers you had to print out. Okay, the company I just purchased printed out little blue and white slips every single month. And I mean, they had boxes of these things and an old school printer that you would have never even seen before in your life. If you're under the age of like 25, you probably wouldn't even know what this thing is. So, I mean, technology is changing so rapidly. We are growing so fast. The industry is changing. You have to join it. You have to get on it. You can run your entire accounting system from online. It's called QuickBooks Online. Okay? It's crazy what you can do now. I can literally do almost everything from my phone. If it were just a little bit easier and touch sensitive, I have to use a mouse, but I literally could do everything from my phone. It's crazy. So get with the times. And I'm not going to go over different systems. Go back and listen to some of the guests I had on the podcast. We talk with them. We have certain CEOs and companies that come on, but these software systems allow you to run your entire company and do everything, whether you're a single guy, and they're affordable, okay? Which is, once again, another misconception in the world, which I was trying to buy another guy, and he ran everything off of Google Excel sheets or whatever. Google Sheets, I don't know what they call it, but Google Spread. I don't know what they call it. He ran his entire company off of that. And he would send me, these client lists, and I'm like, well, who's active? Well, we think like this many are active. Okay, but how many are active? How many are up to date on paying? How many have paid? Do you have anything to show? You have to give me some information here. This guy could barely sell his business, and then some poor, guy ended up buying it for way more than what it was worth. And so getting a system allows multiple things with technology in the pest control industry, right? Systems allow you to know exactly who's coming in, who's going out, what money's coming in, what money's going out. It allows you to do everything. You can see your production. You can see your production per hour. You can literally see how many callbacks you have, how many estimates you did. You can do everything. And they have systems from super cheap to super expensive. You get to choose. There's plug and play systems, and they literally will do everything for you. You just call them up, sign up, and you're ready to go. And they'll even transfer all your data over, so you don't skip a beat. So get with the times when it comes to technology. It is now time to move on and grow with it. Okay, you're going to see that in pest world. You're going to see these things that are out there, and you're going to get, if you go, you're going to be hounded. Okay, you will be tracked down. Okay, as you're walking through these aisles with how many tech companies are out there. It's so crazy. Now, one little secret I want to put in there, okay? They have systems for everything, okay, guys? I'm literally telling you everything. You want to do some phone thing, they got a system for that. You want reviews, they got a system for that. You want to create clients, they got a system for that. Find one system that fits your needs and stick with it. Throw everything else away. Because what will happen is you soon get drowned in the systems, and you have so many systems that you have to get a system to control the systems. And it's ridiculous. So find one that works for you. I have literally cut off all the fat on my business with the systems because there's so many, and there's so many coming at you that I have cut it down to nothing. And I have been sticking through with the simple system that lets me know everything. I can run all the reports. I can do everything I need. But make sure that you grow with that. You may say, hey, come on, DNA. We know the system, but I work for some old dude that doesn't want to do a system. You know what? In that situation, you need to get him to listen to the podcast. You need to get him to see the numbers. I promise you, he will have to do something very, very sad and probably fire some office staff. But it's going to save him money in the long run, and a ton of it. So get a system. I promise you, talk to the owner if you can. It will make the technician's life a world of difference. The technicians up where I got my business, the new one, they were writing everything down, literally appointment by appointment. Even though they already had printed out slips, they had to write down, handwritten on everything, leaving envelopes on doors. Okay, the system in place was creating more work, paperwork, than it was actual tech work. Now we've eliminated it. Yeah, you may have to log in, blah, 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 fill out some notes. But it's all systematic. At the end of the day, you don't have to go through 10,000 different pages to find out what you did that day. You either have cash in your truck, checks in your truck, or a phone in your truck, or maybe all three because you collected all three and everything has been tracked instantly in the moment and the office knows about it instantly. So when you're going through growing pains of being a sole owner to now, hey, I have a technician and me and possibly an office staff, you're going to see that those systems save you and they will create a world of difference for you in the future. Okay, moving on to the next. Okay, I've been ranting about systems long enough. Equipment. Equipment's nuts, guys. I'm telling you, you have no idea what's out there. You guys are out there with your little B&Gs pumping this shit out of it, trying to spray everything. It's a whole different world now. Okay? There's electric pump sprayers, not only backpack sprayers, but actually hand can sprayers. There's a few brands now. B&G has come out with one. I'm going to come out with actually a video about it, and I'm going to, I'll do a product review because I've been using it now and I actually have a good feel for it and what it does and how it works. Because in the beginning I had a ton of questions and no one knew about it. It is very spendy, but I'll talk about that in the video I'm going to do. But you now have electric equipment, okay? And no, I'm not talking about the Wi-Fi snap traps and all that. I believe in it. I don't think they got the price point down yet. So I think that industry, unless they have a ton of angel investors or people behind the scenes just dumping money on it, it's dead. It's not going to work. And I think companies will have to raise their prices ridiculously to make it work because each of those traps are like $40 to $50 a pop. And there's no way after a dead rat has been decaying on it for a month that you're going to want to save this maggot-ridden Wi-Fi trap, right? So you got to realize you're putting a dead animal on a very expensive trap. You may not want to, they got to come up with something here. The bait station's not a bad idea, but the problem is that you're going to run into is now you're trying to find out Wi-Fi, how to connect, what to do, or doing cell chips in there, and we're just not there yet. It's too expensive. Now, other than on probably government properties, which they'll pay for it because they want the newest technology, they want to try to do this whole world-saving thing, they may spend the money, but when it comes to the little guy, you have a little mechanic shop on the corner that's ridden with rats. You're not going to go full board and drop freaking $1,000 what you pay, not what they pay, what you pay on a little mechanic shop. They won't pay it. So the equipment side of things is the new pump sprayers that they do have. They're not so new. They've been out in the industry. They've just been hush-hush because they're so expensive and no one buys them. But it makes your life a lot easier. So now if you're a sole owner, I totally am gung-ho. Get the electric backpack sprayer. Get the B&G pump sprayer, or I know there's another one, I think it's called Gorilla. Get that equipment because that will make your life 1,000 times easier. Now, when it comes to your technicians, you have to be careful because guess what batteries do? They die. And what happens when you have a dead battery? The backpack sprayer doesn't work. The B&G doesn't work. So your guys have to constantly be charging that. So you have to make sure that they're more able to. And that's one thing that is kind of a whole, holding me back on a lot of that is, are they able to charge that and keep that, battery consistently charged? Now, talking about the equipment, so that's kind of your basic equipment. Now, they come out, you have machines, there's Actisol machines for fogging, for cockroaches, there's so many different equipment pieces out there that are a must and that are a need. And when I get to Pest World, hopefully I can grab some of these reps and I can do a few quick episodes with them, maybe 10, 15 minutes, nothing huge. They can plug their product. I'll throw it out there so you guys can see it, understand it, hear it, what's going on. because I want to bring you the latest and greatest. And I don't want to talk about everything now because I don't even know what's new. I didn't go to the one last year because it was virtual. So now this year may be completely different, and they may have a ton of new products. I know a lot more people are going this year that I've even personally talked to that I've never seen there before. They're going to start going. So that's awesome. But look out for equipment. Equipment is a big thing that can either make your job easier or make your job worse. So make sure that you're seeing that equipment, using it, testing it out, or finding people who have used it and who have tested it out so that you can buy it and move forward with that. Okay, a fun one that I kind of want to get into is the electric vehicle. Okay, the EVs, they are blowing up everywhere. So this one I want to throw it out to the listeners. What do you think? What do you think about electric vehicles? How do you think that's going to change the industry? What do you think about it? Throw me out opinions. I want to know, because my personal opinion, I've looked at some vehicles. None of them are actually work ready. And that's the problem I see with a lot of these vehicles. They're way too expensive. We're talking you can get a basic work truck for $28,000, $29,000. Now it may be a little bit more because of inflation, but you're going from a $30,000 basic truck to a fully loaded $50,000 truck. There's no way companies are going to go full board on electric vehicles, But supposedly here in California in 2030, I think it is, they want to push out only electric vehicles. Well, how do you do that in the pest control world? Because we got to drive, guys. We're in the vehicles all day long, 8 to 10 hours a day, sometimes more. So what do? And some of these trucks, they're only going 200 miles. You have the Tesla truck, but that one looks so funky. I don't even know how you'd outfit that for actually doing pest control. If you wanted to put a reel on the back and everything like that, and then you have electric pumps, oh man, you're just going to be pulling energy like crazy out of that. So electric vehicles, that one's going to be really really interesting. Now I get it on the sales side of things. You can get pretty cheap electric vehicles, even hybrids, and you can throw salesmen in them and they can run all over the place doing their thing. But when you're actually getting a route technician, and you start getting in more equipment that is based off of charging and electricity and everything like that, I wonder what the stress of the battery is going to do, and actually how long those batteries will last and hold up with charging literally every day. Because you could only you could probably run 2-3 days off of it, depending on how tight your route is. Lucky if you hit a full week with charging everything. And then you're now charging at the office. So now you have to have a ton of chargers. And I don't know how much power you're going to be pulling through those things. Or each tech has to do it at their house. And now what do? You're not paying a gas bill, but now you're paying an electric bill for the technician. It's kind of... It's just interesting, right? It's really weird. We'll see how that one goes. I'm really excited to see. I do see a lot of new companies coming out and throwing their ideas out there. And I think that will actually help out the industry get it into electric vehicles a lot quicker. And then also government's going to have to step in, obviously, to do some cash incentives or do some bonus or tax incentive for businesses to switch their vehicles from gas to electric. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. That's going to be really fun to see over the years. Because the electric vehicle industry right now is more for pleasure. It's not for work. So being really interesting. Okay. The last thing I wanted to talk about, I wanted to make it a little bit quicker today, for the Free Talk Friday, but green pest control. I want to know what everyone thinks about that. And when I say green, we're talking about eco-friendly products. We're talking about Essentia IC3. That's one of them. You have Essentia G. You have EcoVia, which is another one. we're talking going straight green, no chemicals, even though they're technically considered chemicals, but since they're exempt, it's a whole nother class. So what do you think about that? How is that going to change what we do? And honestly, how some of these regulations are coming out, I wonder what's going to happen if that's going to be a stronger push over to that. The other thing here in California, because we had the whole law passed with rodenticides, and I even talked a little bit about it, is, companies now, you can't just throw, bait blocks all over the place. Oh, I'll just hop up in the attic. I'll just throw a couple bait blocks up there. Like that really does anything. You're going to kill a few rats here or there, stink up their house for a couple months, and then come right back to throw more to stink their house up even more, like you're really doing anything. So, here, they changed that. So now it takes not 36 hours. It's going to take over a week to kill a rat. Okay, so now we're getting into this whole idea of, well, shoot, is this stuff even working that well? There is some expensive rodenticides out there that you can do, which is quick knockdown, but they eat through it really fast. And so then you're just using a ton of it. So then is it really economical to use? So now we get into the step of green pest control, where you're getting into, now we're sealing up the house. We're not just throwing out bait and traps or whatever, Well, actually, sorry, some people didn't even throw out traps. They would just throw out bait and more bait and more bait. Where we're actually going and we're being more productive, and we're saying, okay, look, instead of just throwing out bait, because bait works and it works really well, and we didn't actually have to always seal up the house 100%. And if we put enough bait stations out, we would actually drop the population and they wouldn't be going inside anymore. Or at least the customer wouldn't know they're inside because the population's so low. Well, now the bait takes so long to kill, we have to seal everything up so thoroughly and then set up traps to catch them on the inside, which, in the beginning, I thought this was going to kind of suck, right? I was thinking, man, we're going to be changing this whole, we're going from, just spray and pray to now we actually have to think about it. Which I'm all for, actually. But on the other on the other side of the technician, it's, okay, now I actually have to think about what's going on. So now what do I do and how do I do it? And so now we've come up with sealing up holes, setting up traps, doing all this. But now I'm thinking, when it comes closer to the green, going green, using only exempt products, our quarterly services are now going to have to change to monthly services, or bi-monthly services are now going to monthly services. So now you're going out to see somebody every month. Now you may actually have to seal up with caulk and, hit some of these cracks and crevices around the house, to help prevent that. So we'll see what happens with this green, this big green push. And hopefully NPMA does a good job with Pest World, and it will give some more information about that, and especially the technology in the industry and where it goes, and really see the changes that happen. But be aware of that. The last episode I threw out on Tuesday was all about education. The education is going to bring you to the next level of technology. If you don't stay educated, you're not going to know about the technology. If you don't know about the technology, you're eventually going to get left behind. And someone in your area will surpass you and take your clients. You may hold on to the firm believers, but eventually you're gonna choke yourself out. So being educated is not slowing you down. It is only helping. And being educated, unfortunately, as much as I'd love to say only listening to the podcast is going to, educate you enough, but it's not. You have to get out of your little comfort zone of just listening to actually doing and taking classes and growing. But I'm going to close there. So go out there, learn, take what I said from Tuesday and pull it into today with the technology. And let's see what happens. And I will be in touch with any new technology that I actually learn about or I find. So thanks for listening to the DNA Pest Control Podcast. Remember, I'm still giving out free swag. Please call. I still got some extra stuff hanging out. So let me know if you want it. You can always reach me at DNA Pest Podcast. Okay, that's on Instagram. Or you can email me at dnapestpodcast@gmail.com or go on the website at dnapestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening to the DNA Pest Control Podcast.